3, 2, 1. Let's do it.
All right, we are back. This is the Dream is Free podcast. I'm your host, Jake Healy. Our other host and super producer, Mike Theophil, is here.
What's up, everybody?
We also have the best intern in the world, Renee.
And Jay.
And Jay is here. Thank you for holding down the camera over there. And our guest today is Eric Felitto. He is the owner of the Tasty Yolk, which has multiple locations. I can talk multiple locations throughout Fairfield County.
And trucks.
Trucks. I said locations.
Stores. We're all over
Stores,
the place.
food trucks, everything. He's a former Chopped champion as well. I was there at the premiere of that at what was it?
At the Chelsea.
The Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
That's fire.
That was awesome.
I'm 1-1 now, so it's all right.
Yeah.
I still got a 500 record. I'll take it.
Yeah. And then what's Glenn's wife's name? From
Catch a Healthy Habit.
Catch a Healthy Habit. She was on the show too, right?
Lisa Storch.
No,
Yeah.
she beat
she beat Bobby Flay.
Oh, okay. Because he was on our podcast too.
Yeah,
He came on here.
Her brother Matt was on
Yes.
Chopped.
Oh, okay.
He won as well.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And are you affiliated with him? With Matt? Have you ever worked with him before?
He was the owner of the Chelsea when I first started working
Oh,
there.
okay. That's what.
And then he left and did the Namis thing.
Cool. So like you were just telling us, you've kind of had cooking in your background for a long time. Like you went to school for it right after high school. What piqued your interest in cooking? Was it something
Even
you did
before that,
growing
though.
up?
Oh, it all
Yeah.
started way back in the day.
Yes.
I mean, like 5 years old, cooking with grandma and mom. I was always in the kitchen when my mom was baking. So, I'd stand there, help her crack eggs in it and do that kind of stuff. Always there to, eat the batter off
I
the
was gonna
spatula.
say, licking the
That's
spatula.
always my favorite part.
Yeah.
And then little by little, I started cooking more savory, not just the desserts with them. And it turned into me, actually making breakfast sandwiches for my brother and his friends. That was like what I did. They would sleep over and, do their thing. And then they'd be hungry and they'd ask for breakfast sandwiches.
And you'd get creative with it.
And I just do it.
Yeah.
I make them wraps and sandwiches, whatever it was.
Nice. And then so you went to school for cooking, like you were just saying, a couple different schools in and out of different ones.
I went to a couple schools, but I landed eventually at the New England Culinary Institute in Essex Junction, Vermont. And to me, that was the best because the school took place in a hotel. So it really gave you the full spectrum of every facet in the industry. And you were responsible for basically, you were a student working at the hotel. Okay. So all your classes were dedicated to make sure that the hotel functioned for the public. So it was a working business school.
So you learned the whole
I
business.
learned
doing
everything.
it.
So if I was in meat fabrication class, I'd break down meats for the restaurants that were in the hotel. Bake shop, we'd bake goods for the restaurants in the hotel, and for they'd have a location down on Main Street in Burlington where they'd sell them as well. So it just everything.
Just like hands-on.
It was definitely hands-on,
Yeah.
and that's what I loved about it. I had done the Johnson and Wales thing for a year. It wasn't my thing just because they broke it into trimesters where one of the trimesters was totally dedicated to academics. And I mean, like stuff I did in middle school and high school. And the teacher was like, oh, you're getting such a good grade. And it's like, yeah, because I've done this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
And also the classes were much shorter there. They were, 9-day modules, they would call them. And I just didn't feel like I could get enough out of it in that shorter time. So I switched it up.
Gotcha. And then after school, first restaurant you went to was Artisan?
No, I did my I did my internship the first year I finished school at Barcelona.
Okay.
That's where I worked before I went to school. And then after I finished school, I went out to Colorado to a place called Durango, Colorado at East by Southwest to do sushi.
Cool.
I was going to go to this place in Maui called Sansei, which would have been cool. But at the time, the guy wasn't really looking for an apprentice. And then I had gotten an email from my chef, who was my mentor. His name was Sergio Berdusco, saying he was looking for a sushi apprentice. And he had gone to the CIA. And I started looking at pictures of Colorado, and I was like, it's beautiful there, too. So I went out there, and I ended up staying there for 4 years.
So do you make some bomb sushi too?
I made bomb sushi. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Hell yeah.
Maybe a future special at the Tasty Yolk?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was doing some sushi for the Chelsea when I was there, I would always do it on Valentine's Day. It's easier to do the kind of deep fried rolls and sashimi dishes there, as opposed to like me trying to roll sushi while I'm getting my butt kicked.
Yeah,
it's
like
just like it's
kitchen's
not
backed
feasible.
up.
You know, it's a tight spot. But it can be done. You know, it more be like for doing it with my wife Allie at home if we want to make sushi one night, or you know, maybe someone wants to do a private party and do some sushi. But sushi was awesome because it taught me cleanliness, structure and finesse, and you know, a big thing was you know, you're at the sushi bar, so everyone's watching you, so you have to constantly make sure your station's organized, neat. And
the pressure's on.
The pressure's definitely on.
Yeah.
You know, I got my butt kicked there the first couple of years. I was making rice and doing just the kind of the crappy jobs until eventually it led to like me taking over the hot kitchen, and I started doing that. And then we opened up a Thai restaurant next door. And
was that your first head chef position there?
I wasn't ever the head chef. The owner was the head chef. I was like his sous chef of both of the places. But, I mean, either way, I was responsible for everything a chef would normally do, like a head chef. But it was great. I mean, I had a blast there, and that guy was badass. He would do all the fruit, vegetable carvings, the ice sculptures. He just had a vast knowledge of many cuisines, and that's where, like, I feel I got most of my skill from was that guy. He really showed me the way.
That's awesome.
It's dope.
What was your first head chef gig? Was that at the Chelsea?
The Chelsea. Well, no, there's at this place in Derby called 500 Degrees. That's not there anymore. I went from Colorado to Artisan and Lascaux in Southport and Greenwich.
Yep.
And then from there, I went with my buddy to a place in Derby called 500 Degrees, and that was like where I really got a chance to do my own menu, everything like that. And then, you know, we went our separate ways there, and that's when I found the Chelsea. And I mean, I didn't even know I was going to go there. I was kind of mixed up at the time, and I wasn't really sure I wanted to take the job. And eventually they asked me if I could come there, and I was like, okay, but I need to take 2 weeks of vacation after the first week there. And they were like, all right, no problem, just come. and I worked there for 11 months, and then I became the chef there.
Nice. Coming up as like to a head chef is no joke. It's a hard thing to get into, right?
It's really you know
from line cook to sous chef, right?
We're all cooks, you know. I mean, that's what we do. Whether you're a chef or a line cook, you're still cooking food.
Right.
The chef just is more the business side.
Right.
You know, you got to delegate. You got to make sure your
Payroll,
team's there.
yep.
All the business stuff. But even if you're not the head chef, that you could still have that creative side and make, you know, specials and stuff like that. But really, that's more the business side to me is when you take charge of a kitchen, it's really making sure, you know, your food costs, your labor costs, making sure people show up, finding people, managing people, babysitting people, cleaning up after people.
That's the restaurant business.
You know,
And you guys work
both
a lot
sides.
too. Like
We work a lot.
chefs are, I feel like
always there.
50
They're always
hours
there.
a week at least.
Well, at the Chelsea, that's when, with my partner Mike, he was a financial advisor at Fairfield County Bank. You know, he did the whole, he was doing the banking, and I was right next door to him. I've known him since I was 8 years old. And it's funny because he ended up going out to Arizona, and I ended up going out to Colorado, and we were there at the same time. And then we both came back this way. And then we ended up with jobs right next to each other. So we would, you know, joke around and come up with ideas of what we wanted to do. We had talked about like essential oils at one point, and you know, certain packing tapes. And then eventually, you know, we talked about outfitting a bike trailer and selling breakfast so we could keep our full-time jobs while we started our own business. And then at the Chelsea, you know, I was running that restaurant. So I'd be on the food truck from 4:30 in the morning, finish that around 12:30. And then I would take like a break for an hour, and then I wouldn't finish at the Chelsea till 10:30 maybe at night. So I was pulling well over 100 hours a week for sure, and I did that for 4 straight years. And now at least, you know, I'm here with you right now.
Yeah, you're chilling.
What is it, a Friday?
Yeah.
Friday at
Right.
You know, 3:30 in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
yeah.
I'm no longer at work.
Yeah,
So.
exactly.
So
I worked in the restaurant industry for 8 years, dude. So I in the front of the house, obviously, like I was a server, busboy, fucking everything, bartender. at the end. So I get it, dude. That and the people who I would chill with, you know, smoke breaks or whatever, will be the head chefs. Because they're the most real people there, actually, most of the time.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know, they may be crazy in the back of the kitchen.
They're always funny as hell too.
Throwing plates and shit, but you know, when they're chilling, they're chill as fuck.
Well, it's a high stress job for sure, and I think part of what helped me out so much is being able to manage that, because I've dealt with a lot of people. You know, one of my first chefs ripped me apart to tears. You know, I was 17. It was a busy night, and I was actually at Barcelona. We'll go.
Yeah. It's
because it's a good story. I'm making these.
You a line cook at this?
This point I'm doing the cold tapas. So like I'm responsible for frying the empanadas on the little basket they have, heating up the meatballs and the little cassoulets, and also doing the desserts. So we're getting creamed. I mean, that place was seriously busy, and all of a sudden I need someone to help me because I'm starting to get backed up, and I only had so much chocolate sauce for these crepes that I was making. So he's like, what can I do for you? What can I do for you? And I said, oh, make the crepes there. And then all of a sudden I look over and he's got the chocolate sauce. And he's like,
oh, no.
Gone. And he's like, where's the other chocolate sauce? I was like, I don't have any. So I was like, just put it in the window. I don't know what to do. And they put it up there, and the girl starts walking out with the dish, and the chef caught it. He saw it. He goes, wait, where's the chocolate sauce? And I said I ran out of chocolate sauce. And that's when whatever plate was in his hand came crashing down, multiple profanities, telling me, you know, basically to get out of the kitchen and think about whether or not I want to be in this business. Because if it was up to him, I could go get effed. You know, kiss your ass goodbye. It didn't matter.
That's
so
intense.
I was out there, you know, like,
Yeah.
I just tried my best. And then,
17-year-old.
Yeah, 17.
Then one of the managers came out and he was like, don't worry, man. I cried my first gig. You're okay. I was just like, you know, I think I was smoking a cigarette with him. He's like, here, have a cigarette, sonny. Like, I didn't smoke at the time.
Yep, exactly.
Now you do.
Yeah. Yep.
And yeah, you know, but
It's like your initiation into the restaurant.
definitely.
Your first cigarette.
It opened me up though. I mean, when I saw that, I was like, wow, there's a lot of passion in this business, and it does get hot in there, and tensions do run high. You're with the same people every day, all day long, like, you know, more than your own family.
Yep.
So you know everyone's temperaments. You know how to push someone's buttons. You know how to, you know, calm them down. It's you build that bond.
Yeah. And it makes it easier if you have good ownership. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Because some places, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's some places that shouldn't be some places.
Right.
But
Yeah.
It happens like any business.
Right.
Yeah.
But the good ones, you know, there's a lot behind the scene that people don't really realize. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody that works with you loves working at the Tasty Yolk too.
I hope so. I mean, they tell me to my face they do. What they say behind my back, I don't know.
I mean, you do have you've built a cult following. So, I mean, it's like so many people. There's a reason why. It's not just because of the food, obviously. It's like the personality and the person, obviously. And I just met you. So I know I can already tell.
Well, thanks, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I love our business. I mean, it's something I truly fell in love with, and it's really great because I pride it on, you know, the fact that a lot of the guys we have involved have culinary abilities. We're not just making breakfast sandwiches anymore. You know, it's more to that. Yes, the trucks have the breakfast sandwiches, but you know, it's a specialty sandwich. And then the storefront really
The Will Burrito.
Jay was saying that actually. He's talking about there's so many options over there.
There's many options, but that was just like the icing on the cake. That's like when it really came together. Just because even at restaurants I had been at, you know, I would make these specials, and the whole part about, you know, specials is like creating music or art. You know, you want as many people to see that art as you can. And it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
It also, you know, in a restaurant where you have servers, it depends heavily on the people that are working for you to get that
Sell
out
it.
there.
I know.
And I mean, there's, you know, you could give two people the same table and one person be able to sell it, you know, 9 out of 10 times, and then the other person just can't for their life. You know, it's all about, you know, that whole being able to sell. And what's great about the Tasty Yolk is that I have these same elevated dishes that I had at these casual fine dining restaurants coming out of a storefront grab and go. at prices that are extremely affordable. Like, I mean, I'll give you an example. A dish I used to do at the Chelsea was the burrata cheese with this like butternut squash puree and this sage honey with
sounds like something our buddy Matt would love.
We need
and
dinner after this.
cranberries
Yeah.
and pumpkin seeds. $16. At the Tasty Yolk, it was $8. So I mean, I compensate with lowering the price based on the amount of volume we do.
Right.
Because now I'm in the margin where it's like the volume's so high that I can lower the price and maybe
American
not
Gangster.
make each per make as much per dish. But if I sell 10 dishes at $20 or 100 at 10, I'm making more money.
Right.
And
And
the
people are
product,
happier, too.
Product's
Yes.
constantly going through. It's fresh.
That's what Denzel did in American Gangster.
So it works.
Yeah.
It works.
It does. Going back, like you were talking about your partner Michael, right? Mike Bertanza.
Yes.
What was the initial? So you guys just bought a truck, outfitted it, and you were
It almost didn't happen.
okay.
It almost
tell us
didn't
the story
happen.
of how you guys started.
He was like, hey man, let me buy this bike trailer. We can buy it and outfit it. It's just an empty bike trailer, had barnyard doors, a concession window and another door and a little vent, that you could raise and lower. We put all the guts in it, built with, at the time, the first one was built with just everyone local. We had friends that were carpenters. We had, his uncle was in, a steel worker and, HVAC guys. They were all our friends. One of my best friends, his name's Matt Frateroli. His father, Jeff, put in all of our electrical and I think every single one of the trailers we have actually. And his son, Chris, would put the gas lines for us and help him as well. And then a buddy of mine, Steve Humby, I think
know all of them, yeah.
you know these guys.
Jake's sitting back.
I'm throwing out the names. I know Jake knows them.
Yeah.
And he came
Gotta
up
shout
with
him
the
out.
logo, and that's everywhere now. That logo's everywhere. It's even on my skin.
Yeah.
So I mean,
That's fire.
And that's another local guy, and it just kept spinning from there. But keeping everyone local, but at the time before we even opened, when we had received the first trailer from New York. Where we purchased it, the window wasn't put in the right spot. I mean, it was so, what was it, so low. It was like if you wanted to come up and buy an egg sandwich from me, you'd be staring at my junk, dude. I mean, it was like in your face. And we tried to get this guy to fix it. We ended up like going to court with this dude.
Wow.
But it worked out for us, obviously.
Yeah.
And then another one of my friends I grew up with, his name's Dave Medugno. Probably don't know that one, but he has a place in Norwalk called Royal Woodcraft, I believe, and he brought our trailer in there, raised the window, patched it up, put a countertop, and we were good to go because we were almost, me and Mike were looking at each other, almost saying, "Let's not do this. This is a bad idea." Mm-hmm. And man, that would have sucked.
Yeah.
Because it was a good idea.
and then
Yeah.
the first truck was Park Avenue, right?
First truck was Park Ave.
Shoe.
We would sit out
Down
there.
the street from Shoe, yeah.
Play basketball off the back door because we were literally like kids selling lemonade on the street corner.
Yeah.
Maybe if a couple people would come. We were doing like $60 in a day and nothing that you could manage to live off of unless you had a full-time job.
Yes.
That's what people don't realize. It's like they always ask us, oh, I want to open a food truck, but we started with full-time jobs. That was just extra, and we sat there day in and day out and we just stayed consistent.
And worked 100
We
hours
didn't
a week,
leave.
yeah.
We didn't change spots. We just sat there until we were eventually noticed, and then we were.
It's epic.
Who started, did it just pop one day? Like people were just picking up on it?
We remember, it's just, all of a sudden the numbers, they slowly start to grow, very slowly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was like Parents Weekend or something at Sacred Heart. And
Slammed.
we got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Now we would have been like, oh, we didn't do that this week. We didn't do that on Tuesday. What the heck?
Yeah.
But I mean, we were like, wow, this is awesome. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people coming. And then after that, it kind of started to grow. And when I think it really kicked off is when we were supposed to go to the Memorial Day parade in Fairfield, and it got canceled due to rain that never even happened.
Every year.
So everyone was like, yo, you live in Black Rock, bring the trailer to Black Rock. It'll be so cool. So we brought it to Black Rock, and we parked it on the side of the street, I think in front of Totog Tavern, and we crushed it, first day, crushed it. So we started saying, hey, we got to do a couple days on Park Ave and a couple days on Fairfield Ave. And then the demand grew to the point where we were like, yo, let's get another trailer. And then Mike quit his job and he started working just a trailer. And I stayed at the Chelsea till I think we started building the 4th truck. I was working there with 3 trucks going. And then the 4th truck and the storefront, I was like,
It was like said.
okay, I'm out.
go.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
You guys linked up with what's the coffee Source for a little bit, right?
Yeah, we were in front of Source for a good long time.
That was a
and
good
that worked
connection
great.
for both
It
of
was,
you guys.
It was really awesome. I had a good time being out there. You know, the simple things, you know, when we'd be out there, it's just, I used to get a lot of flack from my mom in the beginning. Not that she didn't support me, but she'd be like, oh, you know, you have so much potential and skill with this. Why are you making egg sandwiches?
Sounds like
You know,
my mother.
Then the storefront came and she was even more like, wait, so now you're not going to work at the restaurant anymore? You're just going to be making sandwiches out of a restaurant, like a storefront? And I said, yeah, just wait. just wait.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, she got wind of it.
She's on
and,
board now?
She's
Yeah,
on board.
she better
The
be.
only difficult thing now is with, you know, COVID and everything.
Yeah.
My parents they're approaching their 70s, so they're definitely nervous about what's going on. My mom, she got vaccine because she's in a healthcare profession, which is good. But I mean, if it wasn't so intense right now with everything that's going on, I'd probably see them there a lot more.
Yeah.
But they do eat there. My mom, she works for us. She bakes us goods that we sell.
Nice.
And they're really delicious.
Oh, I bet.
She makes pumpkin bread. She's started a banana bread now.
That's fire.
It's good.
You also got the Cato's hot sauce.
Tito's.
Sorry.
Tito's.
Where did I get Cato's from? Is there?
That was our old partner.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That was our
see?
old partner.
Jake, nice, dude.
Yeah. That was our old partner. I think he's out in Colorado now, but he started his own truck when we
cool.
went different ways. I don't think he does it anymore now. I think he's like got like a little sugar mama that
Nice.
put him
Good
in a
for
good
him.
spot.
Yeah.
Great for him.
Set.
And but yeah, that the hot sauce, you know, that was something Jay had taught to me when we first started, and we loved the taste of it. And then obviously, you know, when we split our ways, I had to recreate it, and that's also when I came out with the green one. And we sell both of the jars now. I looked at the square thing the other day, which tells our items sold. But I mean, it's only for credit card. Obviously, we don't have the ends of when people come in and paid with the cash. So I don't have a on point idea of how many we sold, but it's definitely probably over about 5,000 jars now.
Wow.
Since we started. So it's pretty good. I mean, and also a big contributor is Custom Meats in Fairfield. They sell our jars at their store now.
Oh, that's
So-
And you guys get your burgers from them,
We
right?
get our burger meat from them and our chorizo.
Awesome.
And I love their product. Anywhere I've gone, I always try to keep going with that guy, Tim. Tim's he's a great guy. He was also on a lot of talent in the area. He was on that. I don't know the name of it, but it's like a Chopped for butchers, where they break down meat, and then they, based on how well they break it down and the price value, whoever has the most revenue wins the show. And he ended up, you know, winning the 10 grand, and he, you know.
I mean, it makes
he won
sense.
as
There's a
well.
lot of talent, to be honest, because all these restaurants around here,
Yeah.
it's hard to pick sometimes. Honestly, like when you're going out or whatever, pre-COVID and post-COVID, when it's all done, Fairfield
There's a lot of
area,
good spots,
203 area, there's a lot of good places.
Oh, we're lucky. Even up in Hartford, there's a lot of people.
Oh yeah, yeah.
There's a lot of people, a lot of chop winners, a lot of James Beard people. It's a powerful
Ordinary
state.
Ordinary's got like best bartender of the year last year. You know, it's a good food place.
We're a tiny state, but we kick ass. Man.
Yeah,
We're pretty
yeah.
good.
Pizza.
Pizza,
Right?
ca-
Pizza capital.
Yeah, come on. Pizza
Oh, that's
capital of the world. Is that official?
Lewis, what's that? Lewis Lunch, the first hamburger.
Yeah, her first hamburger.
I mean, you know, we did it. P.T. Barnum.
P.T. Barnum.
we got everything.
Tasty
We got
Yolk.
entertainment and food.
Yeah.
Tasty Yolk.
Tell us about Chopped. Like, what is? Like,
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
on the
What was
show
that? How'd you
and-
get on and stuff?
Chopped was something I always talked about, and Allie, my wife, she would always push me, being like, "When are you going to be on Chopped?" And I was like, "If it comes, it comes." And it was funny because one day, at the time, the general manager of the Chelsea, his name was Dave Curtis. He came in and he's like, "Hey, there's these people on the phone says they want to talk to you." So I answered and they say, "Hey, we're with Chopped. Do you want to be on Chopped?"
Wow.
I said, yeah. And they said, okay, well, send us a headshot and a resume. So I sent it that night. And then they called me at 9 in the morning the next day and they said, come into New York tomorrow for an interview on the camera. So I went to New York into Manhattan and I did a camera interview. They said it was only going to be like a half hour. It turned out to be like 2.5 hours. Mm-hmm. And then within, I think I heard from them like a week later and they're like, we want you to be on the show. We're going to let you know a date and then we'll do it. But first we got to do a bio of you. So I think like 4 months went by until the bio. And then they had come to the Chelsea and to the food truck and filmed me. And then they gave me a compete date. This was in the summer, in October. So, I mean, even more time went. And during this time, I'm building more trucks. And, you know, October's coming up, and I'm ready to compete. And a week before I'm supposed to compete, they call me up, and they're like, we had to switch your date. You're going to be January 18th. So I was like, okay. And then we had just put out our second food truck and the holidays had passed and I was so burnt. I was like, man, I don't even want to do this anymore. But, you know, I went. At the time, Allie had given me like a mystery basket just to like try it out. She gave me like a couple things for an appetizer and entree. I didn't do a dessert. And
you were like practicing at her house? She was like, here.
We did a dry run. We did it at the restaurant.
Cool.
And then I went and competed, and I slept over her parents in Queens and went to Harlem the next day. I showed up at 5 a.m. at a McDonald's. That's where we met, and the second time as well. And then it was freezing cold out, and they said, oh, we don't have a car to bring anyone to the studio, so we got to walk. It's about 1.5 miles. I only had a hoodie on.
What kind of booty
because I was like, I don't have anything.
Show is this?
That's what I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, this is ridiculous.
Then, you were like, I have 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
It was
you
crazy.
guys have me out.
Hold on, let me get a taxi then.
Like I was on the truck that morning at 4:30, left the restaurant at 10:30 at night, got to Queens at like midnight, studied some dessert ratios because I know
just in case, yeah.
Well, I know nothing about desserts. I know a little bit, enough to get by, but I do not make desserts often. So I was just studying the ratios because it's all chemistry and theory. As long as you know the ratios, you can pretty much do it as long as you know what you're doing
like
in the
milk
kitchen.
To eggs to sugar kind of thing? Okay.
Exactly. Definitely. So, I mean, you know, I was studying ice cream and how to make like pat a shoe dough that day to make some fritters that night, but that was if I made it to the dessert round. So
is it all in one day?
All in one day.
So like you go
we
in,
started
you
5 a.m.
breakfast,
and I finished at, this is at the show, right?
The show.
Yeah, 5 a.m. I got there and I finished at 8 p.m.
And it's, you do what, breakfast?
No, the competition was a breakfast battle, but you do an appetizer, entree, dessert.
Okay.
Based on the theme of the show. But ours was breakfast.
Was it all breakfast backgrounds or?
That I'm not sure. Like they said, the kid I was going against, he had a brunch in New York. There was a kid who has like 4 or 5 restaurants in Boston area that we actually went to his restaurants after I had competed with him. And he had a massive scale operation, but, you know, he's known for his brunches. And then this other girl, I didn't really know much about her, but she was the one I was in the finals with. But basically, you know, I walk out on the stage, you know, everything's a production. So I'm walking through where you see the people walk through the doors when they introduce them. I did that like 100 times. This is before I'm cooking, so I'm walking through. And they're like, walk again and look this way. Walk again and look that way. And, you know, you're doing all that stuff. And then eventually, you know, they bring us into the kitchen and they start trying to show us around the kitchen. And you're kind of, the whole time I'm just staring at the ceiling.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I'm in the studio of Chopped right now.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I'm not listening to where anything is.
Yeah.
So 5 minutes long. And then all of a sudden we're in front of the baskets and they're
goes
like,
off.
okay, the show's about to happen. Put your hands on your basket. And they don't introduce you to anyone. You know, I see Ted Allen next to me, and then there was, Amanda Freitag, Mark Murphy, and Martha Stewart. And I was like, all right, I guess we're doing it. And then you open your basket, and you go. And
you don't know what you're going to have?
You don't know what you're going to have.
Okay.
I was waiting, like, hoping that the night before they were going to be like, all right, so this is what's going to be in the basket.
Yeah.
Get ready for it. Not at all.
Cool.
What was in the basket?
The first round, I had some kale sprouts, some orange juice, which was kind of a cop out, and then frozen hash browns and
Is there a lot of pressure like when you?
Definitely a lot of pressure. Well, the problem was when I was doing it, I didn't know where anything was.
So like, you weren't listening.
So I'm like chopping an onion and going to put it in a bowl, and I'm looking around. There's no containers to put anything in. So I look under my station. The only thing they have is like a glass bowl that's like this big. So I'm putting a little onion in there. I'm like, okay. Yeah. And then I'm looking for stuff, and they're like, "What are you looking for? What are you?" The camera guy's like, "What are you looking for?" And I'm just like, "Dude, I need." I don't know, like a strainer, And he's like, "Oh, it's right over there." So like, you're doing that, and then I'm
how long do you get?
20 minutes.
Okay.
So while I'm doing this, I'm like cutting stuff up, and it's just your nerves are so shot from all the whole times they keep having you do things over, the introduction, and then you're finally just cooking. Like it's like an athlete going into a sporting event without warming up. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just start playing football or start running the 500-meter dash with no warm up.
Yeah.
And that's what it was like. You're cold. So here I am. Now, not knowing where I am,
you're still processing the fact that you're on a TV show.
And I'm like throwing stuff into the pan. It's not even on yet. I'm turning it on. It's sticking. I'm just like, this is crazy. And honestly, I tasted my dish. I had made like poached eggs. I went to make a hollandaise that didn't work. So I ended up making my green sauce. And then I had this like scramble of chorizo with the kale sprouts and the hash brown. And I taste it. And I'm like, oh. Salty as hell, so salty. I'm like, oh my god. and I'm also poaching an egg in like a massive pasta, a pot of pasta water that I threw like red wine vinegar in. I didn't even know where the vinegar was to like just throw some white vinegar. I had red vinegar in there, and now I'm like scooping, and they're like, what is he doing over there? And I'm just like, shut up, just let me do it. And I got my stuff on the plate. The only thing that didn't work out was Martha Stewart's dish. She was like, oh, your plate's a little sloppy. And it's like, yeah, lady. I scrambled, no pun intended, to get this egg on the plate. And I did. So there you go, poached egg. But,
you're like, fuck you, Martha Stewart.
But the greatest part about the competition is it's actually a blessing and a curse, is the time that goes between the judging. It's not just like everyone's plate's up there right when you're done. And then they eat it, all of them together in front of you. So after you're done, they're taking pictures of your plate. Then they take you out of the room. Then they ask you for a description of your plate. Then you come back in. Then they have one person at a time go through their plates. Then the next person goes through their plates. So by the time they got to my plate,
it was
maybe
cold.
40 minutes went by.
Yeah.
But my egg was not cooked. It was not cooked when I took it out of the water.
But it had some time.
But it had time to continue to cook. So when they ate it, they go, this is a perfectly poached egg. And I'm just like, ugh. And then they were like, and the seasoning's perfect. So I'm like, what?
What? I thought it was salty as fuck.
I'm like, okay, either these chefs have like a blown out palate from years of salt.
Right.
Or like maybe I just tasted a spot that was salty. I was like, but there's no way. I was like, it was so bad. When I tasted it, maybe my mouth was dry. Maybe I didn't drink any water. And I was just like, but they liked it. They liked it. And they passed it through. And then the second round, I just kicked ass. After that first round, I knew where everything was.
You were warmed up. You were ready to go.
I was warmed up.
Like fucking Ali in the ring.
I finished with 7.5 minutes left.
What was
everyone else was scrambling.
That was your dessert?
This was the entree round. They gave me bagrir, which is a Moroccan pancake, skirt steak, which I grilled awesomely. And then they gave me cinnamon candies that I made into like a Thai sweet chili.
Oh, cool.
And then they gave me Martha Stewart's eggs from her garden or whatever, from her farm. And I did a soft scramble with some fish sauce in it, and I made like a kaffir lime crema, and it just all went together. And the dish looked like you would buy it in a restaurant, and it was done.
Martha Stewart was impressed.
Yeah, I had finished it in like 23 minutes. These guys were this kid's dropping plates next to me. The other girl's freaking out, and I'm just standing there like, with the camera guy in my face, and I'm just like, why is he just standing with the camera on my face? And then the judges are saying, oh, I hope Eric, didn't forget anything. There's so many chefs that finish and they don't, complete their plate.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at my plate and I'm like, nah, I'm not touching that.
Yeah.
And then it was clear, that I smoked everyone. They had gone up to everyone and they were like, what is this? What is this? And then they were like, this is amazing. And then we were sequestered. And I think you can even see it on the show. The girl's nervous about her dish. The guy's nervous about her dish. And then they look at me and they're like, well, nothing was wrong with your dish. And I'm just like, yeah, what can I do? I got lucky, And then basically it brought us to the dessert round that's where I was nervous again.
Mm-hmm.
But I was hoping that as long as I could get a dessert, I crushed the entree round so hard that I thought I could.
It'll propel you, even if she did beat you.
The whole
okay.
meal. It's not just
nice.
Okay, now your dessert, so we're only judging your dessert.
Good.
And the winner of dessert.
That's fair.
So,
but they eliminate somebody at the entree, right? So
they eliminate someone the first round.
Yep.
Second round,
and then it's just head to head the third round.
With dessert.
There's 4 people, including myself, and then it goes to 3, and then 2.
And then 1.
And basically the director came in and said, okay, guys, this is the hardest round. This is the dessert round. I hope you guys have, some ideas in your head. And I was like, absolutely not. I said,
I don't know what's in the basket.
I said, I don't know desserts at all. And I don't know what's in the basket. And he kind of laughed at me and was like, no one comes to Chop not knowing any desserts. And I was just like, all right, dude. I mean, I studied last night at 12 midnight. That's about it.
I know how to do something with ice cream.
I was able to think about it on my walk over here.
Yeah, he was basically just like,
yeah.
He was like, he said, you're kidding, whatever. So I see the girl smiling, because it's me and her in this room with this guy. And I see her, ear to ear smile.
She's a dessert person.
So I'm like, yeah, she is a dessert person.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I gotta mess this chick up. So so they take you out individually too when you go back to the stadium. So I was walking out before, and right before I got out, I turned to her and I said, hey, just to let you know, I was a 7-year pastry chef at a French restaurant. And walked out. I saw her face drop, and I walked out.
That is some Kobe shit.
And I was like, dude, I don't even care what I make now. I just totally rattled this chick. She's done.
Yeah.
No matter what happens.
Yeah.
And you've never made dessert before.
Well, I mean,
remember he started. He started in the dessert game.
Yeah, it was so. I
roots.
just had to. I had his competition.
Yeah.
So you got to psych the chick out.
Yeah.
And then, there we go. We're making dessert. We're given a stack of French toast. Maple cheddar cheese
from Martha's backyard,
and from Martha's garage, and then what else? It was something else. Was super. Oh yeah, this congee, which is this cold rice porridge that tastes like nothing, and basically I just went in with it. Oh yeah, and then breakfast sausage links. Like, come on.
Do you have to use all the
everything?
Okay.
I'm like, what am I going to do with breakfast sausage links and dessert? Because you know how breakfast sausage tastes. It's very piggy and
yes.
It's like breakfast. It's not like dessert. So I'm like trying to candy this sausage in the oven. It's definitely not working. I make this batter for the fritters and it's kind of messed up, but I just keep adding eggs because I'm like, eventually if I fry it, it'll fluff up with enough eggs in it. And I threw the sausage in it and the cheese. And then what I did with the rice was, when I think about it now, it was pretty cool because the cream to sugar and egg ratio for the ice cream, I took out some of the cream and I blended the rice porridge and kind of used that as my liquid. So it was incorporating the rice. And then I saw cardamom was the only thing I saw when they were showing me the kitchen. And I was like, I bet you cardamom would taste good in the ice cream. So I put some in.
What is cardamom?
It's like a very floral spice.
Okay.
Used in a lot of Indian cuisine. And I made this ice cream. And the first time I went to check on it, I didn't even know how to open the ice cream machine. I've never made ice cream. So I'm like, how do you open this thing? And I'm like trying to open it, and I open it where I'm trying to check where the ice cream is. I actually open the whole hatch and it starts like coming out on me. So I'm like, okay, that's not it. And I shut it up real quick. And then eventually I check it again, and it just came out really smooth, and I tasted it, and I was like, this is
like,
ridiculous
"Damn, this
ice
is
cream. It's like, this is awesome. I said, I won. Just when I tasted it, I was like, I won this. There's nothing this girl can do right now that I would lose from that. And basically, I knew I had won when I came out, and you're not supposed to look at the judges when you walk out, but I heard Ted Allen and Martha Stewart talking, and Martha Stewart was like, Ted, you have to taste this ice cream. It is delicious. And I turned over at that point. I said, I got to look at this. And I see Ted's like hands go behind his back. He's like, and I was like, did it. I did it. Yeah. And then I just waited for them to call my name. And they did. And I won.
Damn.
It was
I
a
remember
good
going
time.
to the premiere, and we got a table with a bunch of people, and somebody was like, I wonder if he won. I was like, he definitely fucking won.
Not bringing all those
they're not
people
gonna
in there to
premiere
lose, you
at
know?
the restaurant that he works at, that he's the head chef at, if he lost, right?
And Eric came in last. But you're all here, so buy something.
You get eliminated first round.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That was the second time. I got eliminated the first round the second time. But that was another good experience. It was just, again, the way it fell was right after we had opened the storefront. Like, literally, I competed 2 months later.
You had so much on your mind, probably.
You know, I was trying to train people, and you know, my cooking style had changed because here I was, you know, making these specials and cooking
Yes.
on a line with multiple things going on. You know,
It's like
when I'm
muscle memory,
yeah,
right?
when I'm cooking eggs, you know, it's a different type of cooking. I mean, I put chefs that have been in restaurants for 20 years on our food truck with a flat top, and it looks like they've never cracked an egg before. It's a completely different game. But I mean, you know, I had a lot going on. This round was way different because they called it fight night, which means that there was only 3 of us to start instead of 4. There was no dessert round. The last round was to go up against a celebrity chef. And so they had me out there again. I had to walk again. There was no car. I should have learned the first time.
Yeah.
I did not remember. It was cold again because it was the winter again.
Yeah.
Like, literally 2 years later, I'm doing the same thing again. And now this time, though, they're having me walking underneath train tracks with my phone, like acting like I'm like,
Oh my God.
FaceTiming my buddies, saying how I'm going to kick Murphy's butt. And then they have me walking through the garage down low to look like I'm entering a fight. They have me getting out of a limo, taking my hoodie off and pounding my fists like 20 times. I'm going through the studio, throwing punches at cameras. Then they finally have me in the stadium with smoke and fog going on and cameras swooping into me. And then after about 2.5 hours of that, it was time to cook. And I was just like, again, you know, uncomfortable. Felt the same way I did my first dish, where I was like, oh, this sucked. I'm going to be eliminated. But this time I did get eliminated. It was just I dumped too much adrenaline in the beginning, and I wasn't ready. And I played it over thousands of times in my head. If I had just tweaked this, it would have been fine, because everyone did very poorly. Like, we were getting yelled at by the chefs. You know, red eyes from them, like so bloodshot because they were so angry, saying like, this is Chop Champions, you guys are shit, you know, basically. Felt like I was 17 again in Barcelona, like my whole career just being stomped on by these, you know, celebrities
Execs,
who aren't even really doing anything right now.
Yeah.
But at least some of them do compete, you know?
Yeah.
But that was just the way that went.
Going on
but
it
it
the
was
first
humbling,
time, though, and like
you know?
winning probably
it's sick.
boosted like your Tasty Yolk business.
Well,
right?
I mean,
Like,
once that happened, it did. It soared. That's right when we had put the 3rd location on Post Road. And we actually made a special that I dedicated to Martha Stewart called Martha's Sloppy Plate, which had the same ingredients that I had for my first round. And, you know, she called my plate sloppy, so we called it Martha's Sloppy Plate.
I love that.
And it was a home run. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Martha.
Martha.
She's cool as hell, though. Like, we were shooting the shit, and you know, she was showing us how to scramble eggs with an espresso machine.
Whoa.
And
Like the
yeah,
thing
you
that
know,
comes out of
the
it?
steam. She's like, look, no fat. And she goes, any of you guys can use that in the competition if you want. And I was like, well, Martha, if we use it, do we get any extra credit? She was like, no, absolutely not. And everyone else was kind of just staring there like, oh my God, Martha Stewart's talking
Yeah,
to us,
yeah.
you know? So
That's so
I've never been one to be like starstruck where I'm like, oh, look at who it is. Because
Martha Stewart.
we're all people.
Yes.
I mean, we all came from the same thing. It's just some of us get more airtime than others. That's all it is.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, if Snoop Dogg popped out behind her,
I'd be like, "What up, man?" I mean, I wouldn't be like, "Oh my God, Snoop!" But
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be cool. I'm not gonna say it's not cool, but it doesn't rattle me
Mm-hmm.
to see them. Like the judges had no effect on me
in the competition. Yeah,
not competing to my ability.
Yes.
It was solely me.
Yes, exactly.
It was not like, oh, I got intimidated that Scott Cohn was sitting over there and he's a master Italian chef and entrepreneur and whatever. You know, it was just not my day that day.
Right.
And that happens. And the other day was my day.
Yep.
So it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, that's life too.
Yep.
Literally.
Sure.
how was 2020 for you?
Yeah.
Like you guys actually probably did well because you had the food trucks outdoors, right? People want to get out of their house.
2020 was a roller coaster.
For every other restaurant business, it was tough.
Yeah.
All right. It's really hard to talk about because I have so many friends that did not flourish from the pandemic. Our business did very well in the pandemic just because of how we were set up.
Yes.
We're set up. You're
in the right place.
Our trucks are outside.
Yeah.
What's one thing everyone talks about? Outdoor dining.
Yep.
You're literally outside. You don't have to come inside. Our storefront, we took away the chairs, the little stools that we had. It's not a big place.
Yeah.
Grab and go.
Mm-hmm.
But with the soaring business also came a lot of mental drain because we had to reinvent everything in terms of keeping people safe in a time where it's not in your face, the disease. It's like you're not seeing people with lacerations on their face dying on the side of the street. So to convince these young, healthy people who most likely aren't going to be affected by the virus that you can't come into our storefront without a mask with other people, you have to wait outside until this person goes. And trying to tell these people that there was not a lot of understanding in the beginning. It was like, F you, you guys are doing this wrong. You got to come up with a better system. This is ridiculous. I can't believe this kind of stuff.
Damn,
and
the audacity.
who got the brunt of it was our window people, especially my wife at the storefront, because it's definitely a lot busier than the food trucks. And, she had to be the referee. And, I mean,
it's a lot.
Yes, our sales were amazing. Yes, we boomed. We hit everything we wanted. But watching the mental drain on her was, like, crushing. It was very tough. It's still tough. I mean, like, she's still wounded, as are, I'm sure, some of our staff from everything that's going on. It's not over yet. Did it become more normalized? Definitely. Do you have to pick and choose what gets to you? Of course, but still,
Wears you down.
I went from seeing this girl, the happiest lady in the world, going to work every day to dreading it. Just dreading going in because of who was going to tell her to F off, or who was going to cause a scene or yell or throw something. Or we had all kinds of things. People, one person like spit on her counter one time.
Jesus.
Just gross stuff.
I thought you guys, like, when I went there to pick up food during all that, like, I thought you guys did a great job. The text to pick up, right? You just text your order in.
Nice.
They're like, it's ready. Come in and get it.
Well, I mean, that was
awesome.
That was a lot of people that went through. I mean, we used to, when we started in October at the store before COVID ever hit us, we used to have people in there sitting,
hanging out,
waiting. It was like madhouse. And I mean, now we've gone from that where anyone can freely come in and come out to now doing the same numbers, if not higher, but, having a result of the same numbers with only one person coming in at a time.
Right.
So, I mean, our structure changed and it works well. To think that we used to have a crowded house and we can still generate it with only allowing one person to come in and out. But it did take its toll.
Yeah. I mean, you guys did a good job making sure like your employees are taken care of first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they're safe, because that's the top priority for you.
Yeah. Lucky for us, knock on wood, no one's been affected at our job with the virus. Maybe we all had it beforehand. I know I got extremely sick early February. I was out 6 days, and I've never been out like that before in my life. And, you know, I know I got a couple other people sick.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they got it too. And you know, it's just, but
Herd
as
immunity.
of now, it's good, you know? Yeah. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys made it through
Yeah.
2020 and,
Sure.
and did well financially, at least, you know.
Mhm.
Hopefully 2021's a little bit easier.
It'll be better, you know, and also, like I said, well, I didn't say it on the podcast, but what I was talking about earlier, you know, we do have another location in the horizon going on. We can change up the scenery a little bit, and maybe that'll be a little better for everybody.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait
So.
to see where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's dope. I love the story.
Me too. Listen, I would say it like, you know, Alan Stewart, who you know as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stewie.
He was on the podcast.
Yeah, he was on a couple weeks ago.
He assures me that we have the spot, but I
think I have a good idea maybe of where it is, but I don't know.
probably know where it is. You probably ran the numbers or something. But anyway, you know, me and Mike looked at, what is this? Four other places. One in Stamford. We looked at Raleigh's.
Is Raleigh still there?
Raleigh's
On
is there.
Post Road?
Yep, it's there. We looked at this place behind Raleigh's where the Lobster Crafts guys used to be.
Yep.
And one other place in Milford. It was called Park Lane Deli, right next to Colony Pizza, and all of them fell through. We were supposed to be in 3 of those locations potentially. The Stanford one was kind of like a long shot, but still, I mean, I don't have a key yet in my hand, so I don't want to say it.
Yeah.
You know, there was
that's
too
fine,
many
that's fine.
times I've had in this business with these new storefronts where I've been telling people, I'm like, dude, we're gonna be here, it's gonna be awesome, and then it doesn't happen, and I just don't want to. I don't want to do that again.
Yeah. But there is another one in the works.
There's always,
wherever we don't
There's
know.
always another one in the
Yes.
works. I mean,
You're trying to grow.
it's the concept's great. I mean, it's really such a good concept that we got going on, and it you know, like Jake said too, it seems that the staff really enjoys working with us, and they seem to take a lot of pride in working for the Tasty Yolk, just because I have heard, you know, other people talk about their enthusiasm when they're not on the clock, just saying how grateful they are that they get to work there. So
Starts from the top.
it's good stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you guys be open to an egg flip in your near future?
I'll flip eggs with you any day. You want, man? We can flip eggs.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to flip an egg.
All right. We got to do this. Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they could do a guest spot at the Tasty Yolk.
Can do
Yes.
it. Yeah, you can come in. Maybe bring a nonstick pan for us, because I don't have any. I got some beat up pans.
Yeah, dude.
Perfect.
And you know what we're thinking of doing? Maybe we could do it with him. The ostrich egg.
Ooh, nice.
Right?
I had some duck eggs from a local lady. The duck eggs are bomb.
Yeah.
I love them because they're like, you only need one. They're bigger, but the yolk is just so much richer, and I don't know. I love them.
Yeah. We just want to do the
eggs? Yeah.
ostrich because it's big.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen an ostrich.
They're
egg.
huge.
I've cooked ostrich, but I've never cooked their eggs.
Yeah.
If that,
Supposedly they're the same as 24 regular eggs.
oh, they're humongous. I've seen
Yeah.
videos only. I've
Yeah.
never.
So that's what I'm
held
saying.
it.
That would be I think that would be the epicness of that. It's like the first collab, egg flips, Tasty Yolk, flipping an ostrich
Dude,
egg.
I want to see you over easy flip an ostrich egg.
Yes.
Because there's some weight
said
there.
yes.
Don't break the yolk.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Awesome.
epic.
Any last question for you?
Yes.
Any advice for anybody who's starting up their new business right now? Like something that you went through that like you overcame. Like what's the piece of advice?
Yeah. If you want to succeed, it's based on you. I mean, straight up. It's how much time you're willing to put in, how much suffering and passing up things that, you know, everyday people would want to do to
Jiu-jitsu.
relax and unwind. Yeah, pretty much. You know, I just talked to a buddy of mine who's got big projects in the works in Bridgeport right now, and he said, you know, people always say we're lucky, and I agreed with him. It's not that we're lucky; it's that we have no problem getting our asses kicked to get what we want. You know, you got to work for it.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's the way it is. And you know,
Hard work.
It's not
It's
overnight.
work.
It's hard work.
I love how you
it's
said in
just
the
grinding.
beginning that you guys were just there and making like $60.
We were there, but we stayed consistent and we stayed true, and we just kept doing it and organically growing. And we're no masterminds of business. It falls into place. You're learning every day. We've had, from the start to now, the things we've changed, the things we've implemented, it's constantly changing. We've had things that seem like guarantees that we still change because there's always a way you can tweak it and make it better. But it's the people that rest on the laurels that don't get to where they want to be if they want to be successful in business, which isn't necessary for everybody. But if you want to be a businessman, you got to put the time in. I mean, look at you and look at Alan as well.
Yeah.
You guys work your asses off.
Always.
But you know that it's, it's productive where we're putting our time, and because it creates jobs, and it also it's good for a community. However you want to look at it, if you got a business, it's always going to be good for a community because you're going to either give happiness to the community, you can donate and money as well as your time to the community, and it lets you meet a whole array of people you would have never met before and get those connections to do things that might not even be, or that might not even pertain to your business. Like, I mean, here I am doing a podcast.
And you
right?
provide jobs too.
You give people jobs.
Yeah. That's the best part about this podcast is like,
Yeah, we've had so many different awesome people come on here.
from this area. It's just all local people too, which is the
Yeah.
dopest part, community.
We're a lot of wild ones out there.
Yeah.
Let's just say the
Yeah.
people I know that are up there, we weren't always up there.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's very cool.
for sure.
And where could people find you?
Social media stuff.
Social media, we got 3 running food truck locations. One's on Brookside, down by St.
Post
Pius
Road.
Church, the Mill River. The Post Road changed. It's now at Southport Beach.
Saw that. So I drove by it actually. I didn't know if that was permanent.
It's permanent for now.
Okay.
I mean, it's a food truck, so
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
as permanent as you can last.
Yeah.
I mean, originally when we started on Park Avenue, they told us it was a no vend zone. They're like, you can't vend on Park Avenue. We did it anyway because we were like, well, that was our whole plan, was to vend there near the college kids. So
Yeah.
we can't not be able to, but no one said anything. And then we started vending on Fairfield Avenue, and then on the Post Road, only to have a who are those guys? The state zoning people come, and they said, hey, this is a
Like
state
Mrs.
road.
Green's.
Yeah, they said this
Yeah.
is a state road. They said Park Avenue, Fairfield Avenue, and Post Road are all state roads. You can't vend on these. And luckily, it was like a law put in place in '78, and we had a friend that we grew up with. His mother is the first select woman of Fairfield. She got the law overturned for us. So
It's a bullshit law.
Yeah.
we were able to vend and keep doing what we're doing. But the reason for the move is just eventually it's tough on people. When we're parking on the street, we pay our taxes, we pay our employees, but for a lot of business people that have solid structure, brick and mortars, it's tough to see that someone parked in front of your business. So that's where the Post Road was a little rough. Park Avenue,
You're not in front of anything.
we're not in front of
You're in front of
anyone.
the woods.
We're in front of a park. Southport Beach now, and
Beach.
then St. Pius over by there by the Mill River. That's not in front of anyone's business.
Yeah.
So
Not in front of anybody's
it's good
house
for
either,
now.
so
Yeah,
they can't say anything.
it's good for now. And the people in that area, we were a little concerned about, just because the homes on Southport Beach.
Yeah.
Big homes.
Yeah.
You don't expect to pay that kind of money for your home
To have
with
a food
beachfront
truck.
soon,
Yeah,
to have
yeah.
a breakfast truck parked out in front of you every morning. But they seem to like it.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure they would though. Yeah.
yeah, it's been great. And then our storefront's on Fairfield Avenue, right across from Hub and Spoke, and that's where all the trucks come through to grab their stuff. It's
the home base.
It's a big thing going on there.
Yeah.
So
Awesome.
It's
And then
dope.
social media, it's
Yeah.
at the Tasty Yolk.
social media, Allie does all the social media, but I mean we have
Shout out to Allie also.
Yeah. Shout out Allie.
Shout out to Allie McHale. She does a great job.
She does.
She does. She kicks ass with that. But I guess we have the Tasty Yolk Instagram and the Tasty Yolk Facebook. I think she
We'll find you and
tweets
put it
once
up.
in a while, and
Cool.
maybe,
Awesome. Anything else you want to throw in?
It's actually at the Tasty Yolk, everybody. We got it.
Oh yeah, the Tasty Yolk.
Yes.
We actually, you would not realize how much conversation went over. Do we put the Tasty Yolk or just Tasty Yolk?
That-
We
same-
literally spent days.
And then you watch that Facebook movie and you like
Days.
drop the.
I didn't. I think that I don't even know when that came out.
We had that same dilemma with Downtime and Downtime TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, do we do the TV or not?
It's tough. It's
Yeah.
definitely tough. The thing that decided it for us was, I think Mike was like, look at this place. It's called Naughty Dolphin, not the Naughty Dolphin. And then we saw it said the Naughty Dolphin, and he goes, all right, keep the. There you go. So,
It sounds good.
It
The
does.
Tasty Yolk.
yeah.
The Tasty Yolk.
It's the place to go. But anyway, everyone has their different names for it. There's people who say, let's go to Tasty Yolk. There's people who say the Tasty Yolk, and then there's people who say, let's go get yolked. Maybe I think that's more of a college thing. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
it definitely is.
Go get some yolk, and
Go get some yolk,
Just
eh?
like our menu items, it's called the Pig and the Banker. And every once in a while, I get someone come in and go, "Can I have 3 of the Bankers and 2 of the Pigs?" Just like, sure. You can say it any way you want, as far as I'm concerned, as long as you're eating the sandwich.
Exactly.
The sandwich is the prize.
Yes.
So,
Awesome.
And on that note, guys, thank you so much for coming on.
yeah, thanks
we
for having me.
Thank everybody for tuning in. Make sure you go have the Tasty Yolk from now on if you haven't.
Yeah,
Peace.
try it out. Awesome.